opens at dawn, before the city knows its name. The street is blue and quiet, the windows hold a golden flame. There's flour on the counter, there's warmth inside the walls, and somewhere in the oven a little morning calls. I came in carrying yesterday, folded deep inside my coat, with words I never answered, still resting in my throat. But the bell above the doorway rings so gentle, small and clear, like it knows I only needed a softer place to disappear. So let the bread rise slowly, let the first light touch the floor, let the morning come in quietly through the little bakery door. I don't need a perfect sunrise, I don't need the world to know there's a bakery open early where tired hearts can glow. The baker hums a blue note while the shelves begin to shine. Croissants sleep in paper baskets like small moons made of time. The piano from the radio plays a tender, sleepy tune, and the shadows leave the tables like they've waited for the noon. I used to fear the morning when it came too loud, too fast, like a door I had to answer, like a future from the past. But here among the warm bread and the sugar-dusted air, I can feel my breathing soften, like the day has learned to care. Maybe hope is not a trumpet, maybe hope is not a crowd, maybe hope is just a bakery where the world is not too loud. Maybe healing starts with waiting, with a table warm and small, with the first light on the counter, and no need to fix it all. So let the bread rise slowly, let the first light touch the floor, let the morning come in quietly through the little bakery door. I don't need a perfect sunrise, I don't need the world to know there's a bakery open early where tired hearts can glow. Let the bread rise slowly, let the blue night fade away, let the window fill with amber, let me start another day. I am not completely ready, this bakery open early with warm light by the door. One small loaf, one quiet song, one more breath to carry on. Morning comes without a sound where the warm bread gathers round. Warm bread, soft morning, steam upon the glass. The city still is dreaming, let the sleepy footsteps pass. I sit beside the window with the sunlight still unsure, and the smell of butter rising makes the whole room feel secure. There are crumbs across the table like small stars that lost their sky. There are names I almost whispered, there are things I let go by. But the chairs are not asking, and the wall clock doesn't blame. It just ticks a little slower, like it knows my hidden name. Warm bread, soft morning, hold me in your glow. I have walked through heavy hours that nobody needs to know. Warm bread, soft morning, let the gentle music play. If my heart is still a little tired, let it wake the softer way. The baker folds the linen with a rhythm calm and kind, like she's folding all the worries that I carried in my mind. The trumpet in the corner breathes a little muted gold, and the piano tells the daylight not to hurry, not to scold. I remember colder mornings when the room felt far too wide, when I stood inside the daylight but had nowhere warm inside. Now a roll of bread is cooling and the tea is turning bright, and I almost feel forgiven by the ending of the night. Let the street wake up slowly, let the buses hum below. Let the morning find me gently in this little golden glow. I don't need to be brand new, I don't need to understand. Maybe peace is simply breakfast, resting warm inside my hand. Warm bread, soft morning, hold me in your glow. Nobody needs to know. Warm bread, soft morning, let the gentle music play. If my heart is still a little tired, let it wake the softer way. Warm bread, soft morning, keep the window shut. Places I can't go. quiet company. Butter melts, the street begins. Light comes softly through the pins. One warm song, one table small. Maybe morning loves us all. First light on the counter, gold along the grain. The night leaves through the doorway without making a stain. A tray of little pastries waits beneath the morning air, and the quiet feels so human, like someone saying, I am there. I brought no grand confession, no reason I could name, just a heart a little heavy and a coat that smelled like rain. But the bakery is patient with its wooden shelves and steam, and the old jazz on the speaker finds the edges of my dream. First light on the counter, stay with me a while. Teach my tired little morning how to open with a smile. First light on the counter, soft enough to see. Maybe I can face the day if the day is kind to me. The sugar jar is shining like a lighthouse made of glass, and I watch the baker's shadow through the flour slowly pass. Every loaf is weighted in the darkness to become something warm enough for strangers, something golden for the sun. I have waited in my own way through some rooms without a light, through the kind of silent aching that gets louder in the night. But this morning does not push me, it just sits across from me, with a croissant and a soft song and a little room to breathe. Let the ovens keep their secrets, let the window hold the blue. Let the melody remind me I am slowly starting to. If my dreams are not ready, if my courage feels too thin, let the first light on the counter show me how to begin. First light on the counter, stay with me a while. Teach my tired little morning how to open with a smile. First light on the counter, soft enough to see. Maybe I can face the day if the day is kind to me. First light on the counter, glow and do not run. I am not a finished story, I am only meeting sun. First light on the counter, hold this room in gold. Let me be a little warmer than the night I used to hold. winter light and quiet bread, morning resting where I fled. One soft note, one open door, I can breathe a little more. Croissants by the window, curled like little sleeping moons. The morning wears a pale blue coat and hums in quiet tunes. The street outside is waking, but it hasn't found its speed. And the bakery is glowing like the kind of place I need. I choose the chair beside the glass, where the first trains pass in light, and I let my hands remember they survived another night. There's jam in a small white saucer, there's a napkin folded clean, and the world, for just a moment, doesn't ask me what I mean. Croissants by the window, golden, soft and slow, tell the morning not to hurry, tell my heart it doesn't know how to be completely ready, how to shine without a scar. But croissants by the window make the day feel not so far. The baker places fresh bread on a shelf of amber pine. Every little paper bag looks like it is holding time. The saxophone comes drifting from the speaker near the door, like a friend who never questions what I'm resting from or for. I used to think that healing had to look like something grand, like a sunrise over oceans, like a promise in my hand. But maybe it is smaller, maybe quieter than that. A warm pastry, a soft chorus, and sunlight on my hat. Let the traffic stay distant, let the phone remain asleep. Let the old jazz fold the silence into something I can keep. If the world begins too loudly, if the day comes sharp and wide, I will keep this little window like a bakery inside. Croissants by the window, golden, soft and slow, tell the morning not to hurry, tell my heart it doesn't know how to be completely ready, how to shine without a after daylight grows. The little bell at 7 sings above the bakery door, not too loud and not too bright, just enough to warm the floor. The baker smiles from the counter with flour on her sleeve, like the morning has a secret that it wants me to believe. I step in from the quiet street where the sky is turning pale, with a list of small forgotten things and a heart that learned to fail. But the bell does not remember what I lost or couldn't say. It just rings a tiny welcome to the opening of day. Oh, little bell at 7, ring me into light. I have been a long way walking through the corners of the night. Oh, little bell at 7, soft above the door, let me enter as I am and leave a little more. There are rolls in paper baskets, there is cinnamon in the air. There's a woman reading headlines with sunlight in her hair. A schoolboy buys a sweet bun, an old man counts his change, and every quiet stranger feels familiar, warm and strange. The piano keeps repeating a phrase from long ago, something almost like forgiveness, something gentle, something low. I do not need the whole world to become a kinder place. Just this bell and this small table, just this calm and golden space. If my name feels heavy, let the morning make it light. If my thoughts keep circling, let the jazz turn them right. Let the doorway be a border between the ache and sun. Let the little bell at 7 tell me I am not undone. Oh, little bell at 7, ring me into light. I have been a long way walking through the corners of the night. hurry, but with all the time we take, ring once more, then fade away. Warm bread opens up the day. Little bell and morning tune, kindness came a little soon. Flower on her apron, light upon her hands. She moves behind the counter like the morning understands. She doesn't say too much, just hums beneath her breath. And every loaf she touches rises softly from its rest. I watch her from the corner with my tea beside the wall, thinking maybe tired people need no fixing after all. Maybe we just need a table, maybe we just need a chair, maybe we just need the quiet of someone working there. Flower on her apron, sunlight on the floor. There is something almost holy in a bakery before. The city finds its hurry, the traffic finds its cry. Flower on her apron, and the jazz keeps passing by. She folds the dough like linen, like a letter to the day, like she's teaching heavy mornings how to rise a softer way. The radio is playing an old and velvet tune, while the last piece of the nighttime fades like sugar from a spoon. There are things I never carried as gracefully as she. There are days I broke in silence where nobody could see. But the rhythm of her fingers and the patience in the bread make a small room for the living in the places I felt dead. Let the flour fall like snowfall, let the oven breathe its gold. Let the morning be a blanket for the parts of me grown cold. I do not need a miracle, I do not need a sign, just a woman in an apron making ordinary light. Flower on her apron, sunlight on the floor. There is something almost holy in a bakery before. The city finds its hurry, the traffic finds its cry. Flower on her apron, and the jazz keeps passing by. Flower on her apron, warmth inside the air. Teach my heart the quiet courage of beginning anywhere. of flower, hands of grace. Morning softens every place. Bread and music, low and true. I am rising with them too. Before the street wakes, before the signs turn bright, the bakery keeps glowing at the edge of fading night. A bicycle leans silent by the narrow wooden door, and the morning is a whisper that has not become much more. I sit beside the counter where the butter melts so slow, watching daylight gather courage in a pale and tender glow. I have known some restless evenings, I have worn some heavy days, but this room does not require any story or display. Before the street wakes, let me breathe again. Let the bread be warm beside me. Let the music call me friend. Before the street wakes, let the world stay small. I am safe inside this morning. I don't have to hold it all. A woman stacks the saucers, someone sweeps the floor. The old radio is singing like it has been here before. The smell of baked milk bread moves in circles through the room, and it softens every shadow that was left behind by moon. There are messages unanswered, there are plans I can't explain. There are names that still feel tender, like a hand against a pane. But the bakery is patient, and the windows slowly clear, and the first bus in the distance sounds less lonely from in here. Let the city keep on sleeping, let the blue hours stay a while. Let the piano hold the silence with its small forgiving smile. If I have to meet the morning, let it meet me gently too, with a loaf wrapped up in paper and a sky still washed in blue. Before the street wakes, let me breathe again. Let the bread be warm beside me. Let the music call me friend. Before the street wakes, let the world stay small. I am safe inside this morning. I don't have to hold it all. Before the street wakes, keep the doorway gold. Let the soft jazz warm the places that the night had left too cold. Before the street wakes, let the day begin, not as something I must conquer, but a light I'm walking in. Streets still blue and windows low, warm carries all my fear away. A quiet table in the sun, a cup beside a plate. The bakery is half awake, and morning isn't late. There's honey on the wooden shelf, there's butter in a dish, and every little golden thing feels softer than a wish. I sit where light can find me, but not too much at once. I have hidden from the daylight for 100 little months. Now it reaches through the window, not like fire, not like blame, just a warm and careful finger softly spelling out my name. A quiet table in the sun, let me stay here, let me mend. Not every lonely morning has to feel like it won't end. Quiet table in the sun, with a song that understands, and the bread still warm beside me like a kindness in my hands. A woman near the doorway reads a book with sleepy eyes, and a child points at the pastries like they're stars across the sky. The baker laughs so softly, the coffee spoons reply, and the jazz keeps floating upward like a paper bird can fly. I used to think that comfort had to come from someone near, but the room itself is gentle and the morning feels sincere. There are no grand promises, no perfect words to say, just a quiet table in the sun and a slower kind of day. Let the crumbs fall where they want to, let the clock forget to lead, let the piano play the spaces where my heart forgot its need. If the world asks too much of me, if I lose my fragile start, I will remember this small table and the sunlight on my heart. A quiet table in the sun, let me stay here, let me mend. Not every lonely morning has to feel like it won't end. A quiet table in the sun, with a song that understands, and the bread still warm beside me like a kindness in my hands. A quiet table in the sun, hold the morning, hold it slow. Let the blue notes turn to amber, let the tired feelings go. A quiet table in the sun, small and golden, soft and true. I a quiet table in the sun. Butter melts like yesterday on toast beneath the light, soft and slow and golden, like the end of a long night. I watch it disappear there into bread both warm and plain, and I think of all the memories that no longer taste like pain. The bakery is quiet, only 3 chairs filled today, and the morning moves around us in a careful, tender way. There's a postcard by the register of a town I've never seen, and the radio is playing something soft and evergreen. Butter melts like yesterday. Let the hard things fade away. Let the warmth go through the places where I didn't want to stay. Butter melts like yesterday on a morning kind and small. Maybe I can let some sorrow melt a little after all. I remember being younger, thinking time would make me whole, but time was just a hallway, and I carried every roll. Now the knife is spreading butter, and the sunlight leans across, and the things I thought were failures look more like a kind of loss. Not everything needs saving, not every door needs keys. Some regrets are only weather passing quietly through trees. And here inside the bakery, with the morning on my plate, I can forgive the person who arrived a little late. Let the piano keep it simple, let the trumpet stay behind, let the saxophone be tender with the corners of my mind. I do not need forgetting, I do not need to run. I just need this piece of breakfast and a softer kind of sun. Butter melts like yesterday. Let the hard things fade away. Let the warmth go through the places where I didn't want to stay. Butter melts like yesterday on a morning kind and small. Maybe I can let some sorrow melt a little after all. Butter melts like yesterday, slowly, sound, and the bread beneath my fingers keeps my heart here on the ground. But it melts like yesterday, not erased, but not the same. I can taste the morning softly without calling out your name. Toast and sunlight, quiet tune. Morning came, but not too soon. Butter gone and warmth remains. Something soft outlives the pain. The baker hums in blue while the oven's breathing gold. She has a tune from somewhere that the radio never told. It slips between the flour, it curls around the bread. It settles on the morning like a hand upon a head. I hear it from my table with my coat across my knees, and it feels like someone opening a small and hidden breeze. I don't know all her stories, she doesn't ask for mine, but the hum becomes a bridge there across the breakfast line. The baker hums in blue, and the morning hums it too. Every loaf is rising slowly, every window turns to new. The baker hums in blue, low and warm and true. If a song can hold a sorrow, let it hold me softly too. She dusts the wooden counter, she checks the cooling tray. She moves like she has practiced letting heavy things away. The daylight through the curtains makes a halo in the air, and I find myself believing there is mercy everywhere. I have sung in colder rooms where the notes fell to the floor, where the silence after music only made me lonely more. But this blue hum is different, it doesn't try to shine, it just warms the early bakery one little note at a time. Let the saxophone answer, let the bass line walk behind, let the brush drum sweep the shadows from the corners of my mind. If I cannot sing my own song, if my voice has lost its way, let the baker hum in blue and lend me morning for today. The baker hums in blue, and the morning hums it too. Every loaf is rising slowly, every window turns to new. The baker hums in blue, low and warm and true. If a song can hold a sorrow, let it hold me softly too. The baker hums in blue, and the old street starts to glow. What was aching in the darkness finds a warmer place to go. The baker hums in blue, nothing grand but something kind, and I leave a little lighter than the night I left behind. Humming blue and bread and gold, morning young and sorrow old, one soft tune beneath the sun. The day has quietly begun. Golden crumbs and gentle jazz on the table near the door. The bakery is waking up, but softly, nothing more. A newspaper lies folded, a spoon begins to shine, and the window paints the morning in a sleepy amber line. I came here without hunger, or maybe not for bread. Maybe I was looking for a kinder place instead. The world outside has edges, the day can feel too wide, but here the old jazz gathers like a blanket at my side. Golden crumbs and gentle jazz, let the morning stay. Let the old song pour some sunlight on the pieces of the day. Golden crumbs and gentle jazz, nothing much to prove, just a heart that needs a rhythm, just a life that wants to move. There's a woman by the window, writing postcards with a smile. There's an old man eating slowly, like he's mastered peace a while. The baker fills the baskets, the doorbell softly rings, and the room becomes a chorus made of ordinary things. I have chased some louder mornings, I have worn a brighter face, but I lost myself too often in that bright and hurried place. Now I choose the smaller music, now I choose the softer start. Golden crumbs upon the table, gentle jazz inside my heart. Let the day come through the doorway, let it enter one by one. Let the piano keep me steady in the early low-lit sun. If the morning asks a question, I will answer when I can. For now, I'll sit with warm bread and become myself again. Golden crumbs and gentle jazz, let the morning stay. Let the old song pour some sunlight on the pieces of the day. Golden crumbs and gentle jazz, nothing much to prove, just a heart that needs a rhythm, just a life that wants to move. Golden crumbs and gentle jazz, small enough to hold, small enough to hold. Turn the blue inside my morning into something almost gold. Golden crumbs and gentle jazz, carry me along. I was tired when I entered, but I'm leaving with a song. Crumbs of gold and notes of blue, morning makes the window new. Gentle jazz and bread still warm, I have found a quieter form. Morning comes without hurry, through the bakery glass. It doesn't break the darkness, it lets the darkness pass. It settles on the counter, on the bread and folded cloth, like a gentle conversation between the light and loss. I sit with both hands open, not asking them to pray, just letting them be empty at the beginning of the day. The room is warm and patient, the music low and near, and the things I couldn't carry do not need to follow here. Morning comes without hurry, softly, one by one. Not every new beginning has to race toward the sun. Morning comes without hurry, let it find me slow. I am learning there is kindness in the things that gently grow. The baker opens curtains and the whole room turns to cream. The shelves are full of small breads, like the furniture of dream. A kettle sings behind her, a spoon touches a tray, and the old jazz keeps repeating, you can start another way. I have feared some beginnings, because endings hurt me so. I have stood before the daylight with nowhere good to go. But this morning does not chase me, it does not pull my sleeve. It just warms the wooden table and gives me room to breathe. Let the traffic wait outside, let the headlines stay unread. Let me learn from rising dough and the patience of the bread. If the world demands an answer, if the hours start to run, I will keep this bakery morning like a pocket full of sun. Morning comes without hurry, softly, one by one. Not every new beginning has to race toward the sun. Morning comes without hurry, let it find me slow. I am learning there is kindness in the things that gently grow. Morning comes without hurry, and I do not have to hide. There is room inside the daylight for the shadows still inside. Morning comes without hurry, warm and low and true. I can rise a little slowly, I can still become something new. No rush now, no sharp light, bread still warm from folded night. Morning waits beside the door, I am softer than before. The window smells like bread, though the glass is cold and clear. The whole street stops a moment when the bakery draws near. A girl outside is waiting with a school bag at her feet, and the morning wraps around her like a song across the street. Inside the trays are cooling, the lamps are turning low. The day is almost ready, but it hasn't learned to go. I sit behind my quiet with the sunlight on my sleeve, letting all the softer things teach my heart to believe. The window smells like bread, and the morning feels kind, like a golden little memory I had almost left behind. The window smells like bread, and the old jazz fills the air. I was lonelier before I knew that warmth could find me there. paper bag again. There are sweet rolls in the corner, there is rye bread by the wall, and the day looks less demanding when it enters soft and small. I have stood at many windows looking in from rain and cold, watching other people's mornings turn to something bright and bold. But today I am inside one, with my hands around the light, and the window smells like bread after a long and sleepless night. Let the saxophone be gentle, let the piano take its time, let the bass line walk beside me like a friend without a sign. If I forget this feeling, if the day turns hard instead, I will close my eyes and picture how the window smelled like bread. The window smells like bread, and the morning feels kind, like a golden little memory I had almost left behind. The window smells like bread, and the old jazz fills the air. I was lonelier before I knew that warmth could find me there. The window smells like bread, and the blue sky starts to grow. Every little tired feeling finds a softer place to go. The window smells like bread, let the whole room understand. Sometimes hope is just a doorway and a warm loaf in your hand. Window bright and street awake, warm bread cooling by the cake, jazz still low and morning near. I am glad I made it here. Good morning, little bakery, with your windows full of gold. You have warmed the empty street before the day grew bold. Your door is small and wooden, your bell is clear and light, and every loaf upon your shelf has risen from the night. Good morning to the counter, good morning to the chair, good morning to the quiet song that lingers in the air. I came in feeling faded, like a note without a tune, but the sunlight found my shoulder and the jazz came in soon. Good morning, little bakery, thank you for the glow, for the bread and for the music, for the way you let me slow. Good morning, little bakery, keep your warm light true. There are hearts that need a morning just as gentle as you. Good morning to the baker with her flower-dusted smile. Good morning to the old man who has sat there for a while. Good morning to the schoolgirl with a sweet bun in her hand. Good morning to the strangers only quiet rooms understand. Good morning to the sadness that did not leave overnight. Good morning to the tiredness still sitting near the light. You do not have to vanish, you do not have to run. There is room inside this bakery for shadows and the sun. Let the morning keep unfolding, let the traffic rise outside. Let the jazz remain behind me like a warm and steady tide. When the day becomes too crowded, when I lose my softer way, I will think of this small bakery at the opening of the day. Good morning, little bakery. Thank you for the glow, for the bread and for the music, for the way you let me slow. Good morning, little bakery. Keep your warm light true. There are hearts that need a morning just as gentle as you. Good morning, little bakery. Let the windows shine. Let the saxophone remember every tired heart like mine. Good morning, little bakery. I can start again, not because the world is easy, but because you let me mend. Good morning, bread. Good morning, light. Goodbye to the folded night. One last song and I will go with a little